Hello, it's Sophie from Angelic Energies. I am the author of Guided by Angels, A Journey Through Life with the Archangels, and the creator of the Guided by Angel Oracle cards and the beautiful heavenly scented healing mists. These are designed to cleanse your aura, raise your vibration and connect you to the angels. Now I wanted to hop on and share with you some insights about a topic that sadly we all have to go through and experience, and something that affects all of us at any point in our life, and that is the subject of death. Now, there was a saying, isn't there? There are only two certainties, death and taxes. But I wanted to come on here and hopefully just take away a little bit of the fear about that, and also hopefully give a bit of comfort and insight into spirit, and you know, for all those that are grieving right now, or that were about to you know, sadly say goodbye to those that they love dearly, but that were about to make their transition. Yeah, I hope this video brings you some peace. So, you know, it's a subject that I've been looking into all my adult life because, well, most of my family are on the other side now. And it's been a tremendous comfort to me personally to understand that, you know, death isn't the end, and that, you know, we are more than just this body in this moment. We are eternal beings, and, you know, we will go on infinitely. And as Einstein says, energy can't be created or destroyed, it merely moves from one form to another. So I think, you know, that's just knowing that it's not the end, I think is a wonderful comfort. But also, you know, taking the fear out of the whole process. You know, I've heard it described as feeling a lot like you're slipping out of a tight shoe. And you can imagine that would be the case, because, you know, you can picture yourself as all this energy inside your body. And, you know, once it's time for you to move on and release this body, it is going to feel like a release, isn't it? It's going to feel like a sense of expansion. And I mentioned in my book, actually, that when I had a dear friend who was making her transition, I went to visit her in the hospice. This was a friend that I used to love walking my dogs with. You know, her and I would team up and we'd walk the dogs together. And yeah, seeing her in that terrible state, I held the space for her and reminded her that death is a lot like life, in the fact that wherever you put your focus is what you're going to experience. And I told her then that I was going to take my dogs for a walk, in the new walk that she'd just recently showed me, yeah, gave her a kiss, and I said goodbye. Then I got home and I got the dogs and we set off for the walk. And then all of a sudden I could feel her energy around me. I could feel her presence so strongly. I said, Liz? And I just had this inner voice, this inner knowing. She says, well, I was fed up of lying there listening to all that doom and gloom. I thought I'd come and join you for the walk instead. And in that moment, I knew she'd made a transition, and she'd moved on, and, you know, she was in spirit and obviously at peace. And, yeah, isn't that wonderful? And there's been a few incidences, you know, that my brother, for example, yeah, he struggled all his adult life, really, with a whole spectrum of issues. And his passing, you know, he was only 31. It was a shock, and yeah, and it was hard to process. You know, this is the thing. You know, it's hard for people that are left behind to cope with the emotions of not seeing that person anymore, of, you know, missing them physically. But in that, I was just standing there. I think I was just at the sink, and all of a sudden, this wave of pure unconditional peace and love washed over me. And just before that came in, I could smell stale alcohol, which was, you know, one of the issues that my brother had was drink. So that was the first thing that you know, affected my senses. And then I felt this sense of peace, and I knew, of course, it was him. And he'd come just to reassure me that actually he was at total peace now. I didn't need to worry about him. And that just, any regret, any grief, you know, any feelings that were really affecting me in that moment just vanished instantly. And I was just, you know, having felt that pure peace, it was just wonderful. I will be always eternally grateful to him for that. And you know, we were trying to think, right, well, we need to get a funeral now for him. We didn't have the money to do it. And the funniest thing was, you know, only a few days after he died, because I'll point out as well, he was very specific in what he wanted, in the way he wanted to be buried, near his grandma. So, you know, that would require a whole headstone, and, you know, it's not cheap having a proper burial. But yeah, just a few days after his death, we got a knock on the door, and it was these two gentlemen with a form in their hand. And basically they were wanting permission for us to sign over something that my brother had copyrighted, a name he'd trademarked, and they were prepared to pay us to sign this over to them, the exact same money that we needed for my brother's funeral. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, even up there, he's still pulling strings to help us out. And this is the thing, you know, just because you can't see them anymore, just they're still there. There's, you know, constantly looking out for us, you know, guiding us and supporting us. So it's really worth practicing tuning in and telepathically having that conversation with your loved ones if you're missing them. And it might just appear as your own voice. You know, it most probably will. But, you know, you'll feel their essence and you'll just know it's them. So that, I think, is just a huge, big comfort if you're struggling with grief right now. Just to know that, you know, death isn't the end. And your loved ones really are always with you, always looking out for you. And, you know, they're in a so much better place than we are right now. So I do hope that that has brought you a bit of comfort and reassurance that, you know, it's something that we all have to experience, but it's not something that we have to be frightened of. And you know, as I know, when my time comes, I certainly want people to be having a blooming big party and a celebration, because, you know, I'm going to be at one with the angels. You know, what could be better with that than that, really? So, yes, love is always going to keep you connected. You know, so yeah, you're never going to lose that. So I hope that's helped, my dears. Yes, sending you many blessings. If you want to keep in touch, there is a free newsletter. If you go onto my website, angelicenergies.co.uk, I only send it out once a month. I don't bombard you, but I just try and keep you uplifted and inspired, and let you know what shows are going on, you know, what the news is with angelic energies. So thank you, and if you want any guidance, feel free to look up my contacts in the description, send me a message, and I will endeavour to bring a video through for you. Thank you.